Welcome to Season 1, Episode 2 of TVGP's Critical Misses, watching and enjoying all the hits we've missed. This Season 1 we'll be watching. Other seasons will be reading, listening. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows what the future holds? We certainly don't. I'm your host, Boss Syndrome, as always, is Moonpir.
Yeah, it's not like we planned this or anything.
I think we did the thinnest planning humanly possible and said, all right, let's hit record.
So the usual for us then.
Yeah, it's par for the course. Last episode, we watched The Fast and the Furious. This time, we're going to watch 2003's Too Fast, Too Furious. And this is for me, as we talked about, this is the first of many in the Fast Saga I have not yet seen. I was thinking about it while I was taking a shower this morning, that what are my expectations for this movie? What am I going to think going in? I think I have one big expectation that's sort of two parts. So one, I think they're going to downplay. In the first movie, we saw a lot of 90s influences still. Very much a 90s movie. I think most of the movie will downplay that 90s influence, but some parts of the movie will just completely amp it up. Like, it won't be as consistently 90s as the first movie was, but I think you're going to see some scenes where it's like, you're playing some Papa Roach here in the background, and there's still a lot of 90s happening here.
Okay, well, I mean, taking off the old Bouncecast theory of a decade continues about 2-3 years into its next decade. Right. This was 2003.
Right.
So we think we're going for a more 2000s feel.
Mm-hmm. I think we're seeing that cross-gen, if you will, of we're sort of we're sort of leaving the 90s, kind of feeling out the 2000s a little bit, you know.
Okay. This is also the movie where the cast starts to grow and shrink at the same time.
Yeah, there's no Vincent Diesel in this one, correct?
Mm-hmm. There is no Vincent Diesel. There's no Michelle Rodriguez. There is no... Basically, the only person who's here from the first movie is Paul Walker.
Okay, all right.
Everybody else is new.
Interesting.
Every single other person. This is the first appearance of Ludacris. I'll spoil that right now, which is funny, because Ludacris had a song in the first film, and he now officially stars in the second film.
Right. Who was in the first one? Was that Ja Rule was one of the drivers?
Yes, Ja Rule was one of the drivers at the beginning. I almost said Little Bow Wow, because they look exactly the same.
Right.
But yes, it's Ja Rule.
And it sort of makes sense that there's a cast change for Tokyo Drift, because that's an entirely different region. I know I have heard in the past that there are some cameos in there.
There's some complications when it comes to Tokyo Drift, let me tell you. But we won't even be able to get into those until we get into Fast 5 is when we'll start getting into the what's going on with Tokyo Drift.
Where the saga really starts to tie together.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's where
the multiverse.
I can't think of a good terminology for it, but there's an acronym where you get an acronym and everyone uses the acronym, and then you go backwards and make up a word for it.
It's a backronym.
Yes. I'm trying to think of that, but for canon, I don't think there is one. I don't think back canon, it makes sense.
Right,
but Fast 5 is when they start doing that. Let's just take everything back here and roll it forwards.
Waving a lot of hands, saying we always meant for you just didn't catch it the first time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's 5. So we're in 2. I did mention it last episode, part 2. I want you to see if you can catch the Pitch Black reference, because there's a Pitch Black continuation in this. I think all of the movies have a Pitch Black thing in them.
That's fun.
Except for maybe Hobbs and Shaw.
Sure.
There's the Pitch Black continues. Let's see. Are we going to get in the Underglow?
Are we going to get Underglow? I would say, yeah, probably, but maybe from only one squad.
Okay.
Maybe the old school squad where it's look at these idiots still with the underglow. So 90s. What is this, 2001? Come on. Maybe that's what we'll get, is we'll get the old school crew.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you like my official location for Too Fast, Too Furious on my list of Fast and the Furious movies? I've already made it clear, the Fast and Furious number 4 is the
Right.
worst.
Oh, okay. So we have something to look forward to. Where does
Spoiler
number
alert,
2 sit on your list?
Too Fast, Too Furious is the second to last worst.
Wow. Okay, so we're kind of we're racing towards a turd here.
Yeah, no, that's 4. Trust me, that's 4. This one, like, for me, okay, since we were discussing it, the bottom 4 are The Fast and the Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious, The Fast and the Furious, and then Tokyo Drift. Like, from bottom upwards. Tokyo Drift might be higher up, depending on what I feel like when we revisit, like, 6 and 7 and 8.
Sure.
But, like, the early 4 are the lowest of the bunch kind of thing.
Before the multiverse, before the Tesseract shows up and it all starts coming together.
Exactly.
Right.
Before we get to
Vin Diesel with his
insanity.
glove. Snapping.
I'm trying to think. Cars. What are we thinking cars-wise? We know Vin Diesel's gone.
Yeah, I guess that's a good question. Is there going to be the everlasting fight between the imports versus the muscle cars that were, I guess, not as much of a focus in the first one as I was sort of expecting there to be. It was very much like, here are the cool import cars. Whoa, this one car is totally dope. You know, like the
like literally
bassy.
one person drives a muscle car.
Yeah.
Well, 2. I think the Jetta is technically a muscle car too, but who cares about Jesse? He's dead now. We can forget about him.
Goodbye. I feel like this one, since Vincent isn't in this movie, I feel like maybe there'll be less of a focus on the rivalry between the two.
Okie doke, okay.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what you think.
Yeah.
There's a big thing I've always hated with these movies, and something that comes and goes with each movie, and that's the CG. It's one of the reasons why Initial D is one of my favorite movies, live-action movies of all time, because they legit took drift cars and just drifted them around mountains for the races. It's like so well filmed. Tokyo Drift has mostly real cars.
Okay.
Too Fast, Too Furious is when the CG starts.
Oh, no.
And this is 2003 CG, so just as a heads up,
Okay.
get ready for some CG.
As I was trying to think in the last one, there was some CG effects, you know, when they do the super turbo, the hyperspace. You know, there's some stuff there, but I was trying to think there wasn't a lot of, from what I could tell, not obvious early 2000s CG. So that now that I'm thinking about it, I'm a little bit more impressed with the first movie, and now a little bit disappointed in this one for some of that CG.
The worst one is definitely 4. Like, that's one of the reasons why I absolutely hate 4, is because there is so much unnecessary CG in that.
Oh, okay.
And this one is starting that trend, and Tokyo Drift is like, no CG.
Right.
And then 4 is just like, oh, well, we can't do this really, let's just do CG.
Explosions.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, let's go watch the movie. We've watched the movie. We have left our respective home theaters. We're ready to talk about Too Fast, Too Furious.
So, tell me what's going on, bro. I mean, come on, bro.
What's going on, bro? I really had to laugh at the Universal logo, the different Universal logo at the beginning. I was like, boy, you guys are just, you're really starting off heavy.
Wasn't the first one a wheel too, but it was like, I think the first one...
I think it was just like a spinning wheel.
Yes, but this one was like the proper, like...
what's ratcheting and...
Damn it, I forgot.
Car parts.
Yeah. Hydraulics. There we go.
Yeah.
But yes.
Boy, this movie is a mess. One of my biggest criticisms of this movie is like it feels like when I'm watching one of my kids' shows. Okay. Like there's so much stuff happening
at all
rapid fire back to back. Yeah, and like there's 3 conversations happening at one time, and like conversations are picked up and dropped immediately. Like Tyrese goes talk to Suki and says like, oh, it looks real good, you're artistic, and she goes, thanks, and then like suddenly we're off on 2 other conversations. It's just like People can talk. People can talk to each other. Like, it just slow down.
Yep. This movie moves quick.
Yeah.
Did you get the Pitch Black reference?
No, I didn't.
The bad guy is the cop dude from Pitch Black.
Okay. Kind of a weak bad guy,
Yes.
truth be told. He's not really as menacing as he needs to be.
He tries his best, but he fails miserably on pretty much all fronts. Like, I think his best bit is in the club scene. Like, that's when he actually feels threatening. Every other time, he's just like, yeah, you're just a D-bag.
He's just like quietly staring at them like, you guys and Eva Mendes.
Yes.
Interesting.
Okay, so we got Tej, Ludacris's character.
Yeah.
We got
Love
Roman.
I thought Tyrese was fine in this movie. You can still tell he's kind of like a junior actor. He hasn't really cut his teeth yet, and he's overplaying some of this stuff, but he's seems like he's genuinely trying, and I give him points for that, but I don't think he really gets there.
When I first saw this movie, I did not like him at all. Now I look back at it and it's like, okay, credit where it's due. He's doing his best, but this might sound odd, but he's trying to play it a little too street. Like,
yeah,
like he's a little bit too from the hood kind of thing, and it's just like,
it doesn't feel genuine.
No, I mean, I'm sorry, but when you look as good as him with his perfect smile and his killer physique, it's just like, come on, dude. You literally have 0 scars. Don't talk to me about how hard your life is.
Maybe that's my problem. Maybe I want him to be a little bit more charming than I want him to be hard.
Yes.
You know, like, you think with a dude like that, like, he's going to flash a grin and have some sparkling eyes and be like, do whatever you want, Tyrese.
Yes.
You got me again.
Yeah. His character, well, spoiler alert, Tej and Roman do come back.
Great. Love Tej.
So
2 thumbs up.
Look forward to that in the future. Let's see. What else is there? So, CG. They did a lot without CG, but there's a shocking amount of CG at the beginning.
But, you know, I really didn't notice a lot after that first part.
That's
but
literally the
very
most
first
used.
race. Yeah, like that first race was just like zooming from one car to the other and zooming in on someone's eyes and then like shoo and going on to another car. It's like, we don't need to do this. Like, these cars are already super fast. You don't have to do all the like twisting and zooming stuff. That doesn't feel it just doesn't look great.
Yes.
I get what they're going for, but it doesn't really get there.
And the backwards and forwards, who's in the lead CG, where it's like the cars they're like in front, one's in the other. That's literally the part of the CG that makes me laugh the most.
It's real bad.
Bridge jump made me laugh. Still makes me laugh.
Bridge jump in the intro is really great.
Yes.
I that's one of those things where it's like, he says he has a surprise, and I was like, I don't know what this is going to be like. I cut everyone's nozzle lines, ha ha ha. But he's like, nah, just raise up this bridge. And it's like, all right, yeah, you know what? All right, that's cool. I can get behind that.
And of course, the hero of the movie, Mr. Walker himself, does the jump over the bridge over another car.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yes, it was.
I like the one guy chickens out, like Suki wrecks her car, and then Paul Walker
still comes second. Suki still comes second.
It's true. You know, I wish that Suki had a larger part in the movie, because I thought the stuff of hers in the movie I thought was pretty cool. Yes. I liked her car, like that first pink car. Really liked the design of that. Like, I've never been someone who's a big fan of like, here's a car and it has those racing flames on them. You know, I think that stuff looks pretty bad.
And her computer program is the anime girl going,
yeah, like that was a little bit like, okay, it's 2003, sure. But like,
the only downside for Devon Aoki, who is the lady who plays Suki, is she doesn't have a driving license.
Oh. Whoops.
Can't drive. Doesn't have a license.
Yeah.
So,
interesting.
Unfortunately, you won't see a whole bunch of Suki going forwards.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah, it really, really is.
I was a little bummed to see Eva Mendes in the movie, because I don't really like her as an actress in general, and I don't think she did really great in this movie. Like I didn't.
I'm not going to argue with you there.
Yeah, it's hard for me to buy that she's a cop, and it's the same problem that I had with the first one. Is that in the first one, there's no like push or pull with Paul Walker of like, oh, this newfound family is great. Oh, but I'm a cop. Oh, but the family. You know, there's no internal strife like that, and there's zero of that from Eva Mendes in this one, where it's just like, I'm a cop, but I'm smooching this dude, but I don't want to hold this guy down while a rat is scratching his belly, but yeah, whatever. You know, it's just like that. Didn't really go far enough on there.
Yeah, it does make me laugh though. The first one is, are you a cop? And then the second one is, everyone's a cop. Literally,
yeah, just all of us.
Is a cop.
Tyrese is angry that everyone's a cop.
What did you think about one of my favorite scenes in this is the muscle car versus sports car, we need new cars moment.
Yeah, like the drag race around. I thought I really liked that. I was surprised that there was more of that in here, and I
those
was
two idiots
pleasantly surprised.
Who show up at the start and then suddenly show up again.
Those two dummies. But I do like that it wasn't a clean race. You know, it was very much like there's gonna be some tomfoolery here.
Yep.
I sort of appreciated that.
Good move, kid. Let's see if you've got the balls. It's one of my favorite lines in the movie. But
I do like that those two idiots are with them in the import cars at the end.
Yes.
Which leads to one of the dumbest scenes in this movie, which is the ejector seat.
Because
it's so stupid. It's like stupid enough for me to respect, but like not well done enough for me to like.
Yeah.
It's just like you all the way went there and you just made an ejector seat, but it's just a little too stupid.
Oh boy, you got some places to go with this series.
Yeah, I'm expecting this to be an ill portent.
That is the first indication of let's make some stupid decisions.
Right.
3 takes it more serious again, and then 4 takes it super duper seriously, and then 5 is just like, oh, who cares? Let's just go insane.
Family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, what else was there? Yeah, I
the
love
the big moment for me that was I didn't see coming and was weird and maybe not that great is the giant they jumped a car onto a boat scene at the end where it's just like, where am I jumping? They're jumping they crashed a car into a boat. Okay. Yep. All right. Okay. Maybe I'm done with this movie.
100%. It's good because the movie's done at that point. I love the scramble. Like the orchestrated scramble is such a good moment.
That was one of the moments where I myself as a movie watcher, I'm not really ever trying to guess what's going to happen next. I like taking the ride.
And the best thing is when movies don't like literally tell you exactly what's going on. Like Ocean's 11 is a good example of a movie that's like, here is the ride, we'll go back and show you what you missed later. Like I love that kind of stuff.
And I kept trying to figure out what they were going to do because it was bothering me. It was like, we're getting their crew together. We're going to mess with those cops. And like, what are like 4 of you going to do? And then watching just dozens of cars come out of that shipping area and then finding out that they switched cars. I was like, okay. All right, cool. Like it's one of those things where it's like, we found the 2 cars, the green one and the purple one. Follow them again. And it turned out to be Tej and Suki. And I was like, all right. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
I liked that.
I just love they open up those chains and then all of the trucks just come plowing out and just smash into the front of the cop cars. It's like,
yeah, the battering rams.
It's like, come on, guys. Like it shows everybody.
That was all pretty good.
Like it's a scramble, baby. It's so dumb. Like this movie is so dumb.
Yeah, but I think for me the thing that's missing is
don't say
the first one felt. Well, yeah, the first one felt like it had a lot of heart, and this one felt a little soulless. Like it didn't feel like everything clicked Like we talked in the last episode about first one having a smaller budget and no CG and kind of everybody is really young and really green, but there was something to the first one that's sort of like, you scrappy so-and-so. It's like, you did it. You made a movie. And this one doesn't feel like it has that same heart. And it's kind of, to me, I think that moves it down below the first one in my ranking.
Yeah. I like, for me, this is until we get to 4, this is the weakest of the bunch. Because I do like it. But this feels
it's fine.
It feels like it's one of those things where it's like, we wanted to make a Fast and the Furious movie. We couldn't get Vin Diesel because he was too busy doing Triple X. Like, we kind of replaced him a little bit with Roman.
Right.
But Roman's a different type of character. Like, I think the funny thing is, in the first one, both Paul Walker and Vin Diesel are so serious. Like, they are, quote-unquote, acting because they're taking their roles seriously. Whereas it feels like in this one, Paul Walker's kind of like, you know what? If this goes further, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm just going to have a laugh. And he actually starts to show some pretty good emotion in this movie.
Yeah, he's like having fun in Miami and eating food with Tyrese.
Exactly. And I think it's really, really cool. But my word, there's so much stuff about this that I don't like. I don't like the CG. I don't like the villain is the worst villain of the lot of them, as far as I'm concerned.
He's just boring. Like, there's no real, like, I never felt like they were ever really in trouble. Like, I felt they were in more trouble from those two dummies that were riding with them more than the villain himself.
Yes, which, of course, they are acting on behalf of the villain, but it's like...
Right.
It felt like Dexter's dad was more trouble to them than the villain was.
The
other cop guy, and it's just like, come on. Like, all in all, it's not a bad movie.
Dexter's dad. I like seeing that guy in this movie, though, because it's like, oh, that dude is chewing the scenery. Oh, this is great. Yeah, that was a highlight. I like seeing that dude whenever he
I didn't know pizza places made engines.
That scene, I was just like, okay, yeah, I don't... Sure thing, Paul Walker. Mm-hmm. You're really roughing up this dummy cop. All right.
Oh, yeah. We did get neon again. We got the underglow, but only at the start of the movie.
Yeah, that went away pretty much at the when they got the green and purple car. That seemed like it sort of went away.
Yeah.
Too Fast, Too Furious is fine. I suspect, based on what you're talking about, by the time we get to the fourth movie, I will feel potentially like my time has been wasted, but I didn't feel that way with Too Fast, Too Furious. At the end, I was sort of like, all right, that was like an hour and 45 minutes that were good. It was fine.
Yes.
It wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen. It's not, me watching this in bed at midnight going, family, like nothing like that. But it was okay. But in my official season 1 ranking so far, this is number 2.
So it's 1 then 2 so far.
Yeah, 1 then 2 in the perfect list. But I'm very... We'll talk about it during the next episode when we convene for the Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift.
Yep.
I'm very excited to see what I have seen on the internet to be one of the most divisive movies in the franchise. I have a feeling that I will probably like it, not knowing almost nothing about it other than it's divisive. But I have this sneaking suspicion that I will enjoy its brand of campy stupidity.
Going in, that's why I loved it going in. And then you get much, much further down the line, and it's like, oh, it's so much better for even more reasons. Completely accidentally, of course.
So you're saying that season 2 of Critical Misses is going to be, we're watching the series again and tying it all together.
But this time we'll do it in chronological rather than release order.
Oh,
it's like Star Wars all over again.
That's right. The machete order for the Fast Saga. Oh, man. All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for listening. and we'll see you for episode 3.
Bye.